My name is Justin Silvers, author of In the Struggle, Poems from an Addict's Heart to Inspire Hope. But I want to talk to you not about poetry, but about the process of addiction. I want to talk to you about the reality of it all. Today I helped my buddy's mom move his stuff out of his apartment. She was very stressed out about it, and I was grateful to be able to see today what it's like to be on that side of it. Because I'm usually the person on the other end of the phone calling my family, asking them to move my stuff. So what we don't realize is what's going on out there. To us it's like, oh come on, you just moved my stuff, no big deal. I mean, my parents are getting older, his parents are getting older. It's a big deal. It's hard, and they've been through it over and over. And to have people come through for you like that, it's a lot of people think it's enabling, but it's not. It's not enabling. It's love. You can set boundaries, but the love needs to be there. We need to know that you still love us, because right now, in jail, we know what we did. We know what we need to do. So you're not going to tell us anything that we don't already know. I know. I know. Trust me, I know. I'm in there beating myself up every single day. All the regrets, all the shame, everything just comes in. It bombards you and it destroys you. Especially if you don't have somebody on the outside reaffirming that it's okay, that you're human, that you made mistakes, that we're here for you. And granted, you might have to set some boundaries. You're gonna have to set boundaries. But don't ever take away the love. It's easy to look at it and be like, oh, I'm not gonna put money on your books because you messed up and I'm enabling you. That's not enabling, at least not in my perspective. Enabling to me is when you step in and you prevent that person from learning lesson that they needed to learn. So going to jail and being abandoned, that's not a good lesson. I mean, yeah, that's a hard lesson, and it's something to be learned if it has to be, but reality is that money, it's a material thing. You're trying to show someone that you love them and be there for them, so it's not so much about the money, it's more about the action. That's the only way that you can really show that you love someone who's incarcerated, is by sending them money. They want to call and talk to you, but it's not free. It's not free. And but today I'm grateful that I got to see what it's like to be on the other side of that phone. My buddy's mom, she's like a mother to me, and today I seen her. She was so happy that I showed up, and I was just showing up because I would want someone to show up for me. And I mean, I love her too, so there's that. But the truth is, I needed today to happen. She made it seem like it was this great thing that I did, but really, it wasn't that great. It was just, I think it's just being human, showing up for people. We need people to show up. And when my buddy gets out, he's going to repay me by showing up for himself. He don't owe me nothing. But I needed today to happen to notice what it's like on this end of the phone. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. It's stressful. It's hard. You're overwhelmed. I mean, you're possibly coming across paraphernalia or whatever. You never know what you're gonna find. All those secrets that we keep when we're in our dirt, they come to light when you're locked up and you ain't got nothing to, So you rely on your family, and having people like that is great. It's really great. But all the preaching and condemning and talking, that ain't gonna help nobody. So the best thing you can do is be there, and you're gonna feel the way you feel, and you shouldn't hide that. You should definitely voice your opinion, but just realize that person is going through something that you can't begin to understand. Imagine doing all this stuff, having all this fun, and then all the consequences that are just suspended all around you, and then when you get locked up, everything just comes unhinged and it all smacks you at once, and it's hard to be in there. It's hard to be in there with yourself, and those phone calls are essential to help getting you through those moments, to know that you didn't mess up so bad that everyone gave up on you. You know, after a couple weeks being in there, you get your mind right. You start thinking clearly. Those regrets start hitting you hard. You get depressed. That's where you need family the most. So I applaud people who stay the course and who are persistent, who never give up on their family, because you shouldn't. Family's family, and you shouldn't give up on them. Set your boundaries, but be there. Be there. I love you is a miracle word. It's a miracle word, I'm telling you. But also, so I want to tell people what I did for myself, how I got through, where I find my strength in my recovery. And it's a thing I call Channel Check. And it's based out of a book I read called Switch On Your Brain. I believe this lady wrote it. She's a doctor. It's a great book, but it teaches you about memories, how memories are made. Now, what makes this important to know is that when you relapse, you've already relapsed before you got high. It all started in your brain. It all started as one tiny little thought that you entertained. Now, having thoughts is normal, but entertaining them, bringing them energy, that's where you find your mistakes. That's where we find, that's where we relapse first. You can relapse before you even get out of jail. So I want to tell you about the brain and the memories, how they're created. So when you have a memory, say you get high, that just created a memory in your brain. And what happens is there's a branch that's formed in your brain, like a little tree, you know? Every memory you have, that's what happens. Now, in order for that branch of memory to be stored into your memory, it has to be one of two things. It has to do one of two things. Scientifically, it has to be reinforced or it has to be changed. Now, what I mean by reinforcing it is when you get that memory coming to mind, you give it energy. You give it positive energy. You think, man, remember that time we got high and it was so great and it was just this amazing thing? Now that little branch just grew a little bit. And every time you give it that positive energy, and that it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you have this big pulsating oak tree at the surface of your brain. So anytime you think about it, that's the first thought that comes to mind. So now that's where the danger comes in, because you don't even have your choice. That's what you automatically go to. This is where channel check is essential. When you channel check, you go from an instinctive brain to your prefrontal cortex, which is your reasoning brain, and you cognitively think through this instead of just acting. Because when you get into addiction, when you start getting high, you are functioning under survival mode, fight or flight. So that's like you see a saber tooth, you either freeze or you run, right? So that's instinctive. You don't think about it, you act. And if you didn't have that instinctive brain, you'd probably be swallowed up by a tiger, because while you're sitting there thinking about it, you're already getting eaten. So you don't have time to think. And that's what happens when you're getting high. You find yourself already at the dope house, hitting the pipe, doing drugs, putting that needle in your arm before you even thought about it, because you were functioning in your instinctive brain. So channel check puts you in your reasoning brain. And if you can condition yourself to do this before you get out, and you can do this on the streets, you can do this wherever you're at, you can do this right now in this moment. You say channel check. And what that does is that makes you think about what you're doing as opposed to acting, reacting. So you channel check to something, a desire. What's your number one desire? Okay, when I was locked up, my desire was to be my son's father, to be in his life, to hold him, and I'd walk around with a picture of him and I'd stare at it all day. And when I thought about using, I would say, and I would say this out loud, I would say channel check. And I would think about him. I would imagine his laugh, his smile. I would imagine just being there with him. Like, just chase that idea all the way through. Just build it up in your mind. Imagine it. I mean, this is like kind of the essential grounds of manifestation, right? You're literally manifesting what you want to happen in your life. So that's what I would do. And this works for relationships. If you have toxic relationships, you sit there thinking about that person. See, we're not wired to remember the pain and the negativity. We're wired to enjoy pleasure. That's why it's so easy to forget that meth stole my life. It took my teeth. It took my everything from me. It just took all the material things I owned. It took my family from me. It took my morals. It took my mind, it took my sanity. And I don't think about none of that. I think about, man, that one time I got high, that was so amazing, right? And that's what I think about every time I think about it. But if I can channel check, now you can do channel check one of two ways. You can channel check to turning that memory into like negative. So I can say, getting high was great. Channel check, negative high. Getting high put me in jail. But the problem there is you're still thinking about it. So, I mean, you can do that and it is beneficial. But I think the best way, at least for me, is channel check, getting high, thinking about my son. So now what happens is you're changing that memory. Okay, so that pulsating tree is changing. So now you got two competing memories, right? I got my son and I got my youth. Think about getting high. Channel check. Boom. Think about getting high. Think about getting high. Channel check. Boom. So now this memory is getting pushed back and it's dissipating. It's getting smaller. But this memory is getting huge, right? So now this isn't even a part of my thought process hardly. Like, I mean, you know, it still might be there. It might be there forever. Who knows? I don't know. But I do know that this is what works for me. And when I got out, I've had every opportunity to get high. I've seen it. I've been around it. And I've been around people on it. And it literally, the idea of it getting high doesn't even cross my mind. I don't even want it. I'm not saying that that's how it's going to work for anybody else. And I'm not a doctor, so this isn't like, do this and it works. There's no cut, copy, paste, and you're feared because everybody's different. We're all like fingerprints. We're all different. We're all unique. So what happens for me might not work for you, but give this a try. I mean, you can't go wrong by trying it, right? But it is scientific, that what I'm telling you, the way that our brains work, the way we're designed. If you can cognitively think through this and make that become a habit, it'll become a habit when you get out. So you need to make preparations where when you're in treatment, when you're locked up. The time to fix the roof is not when it's raining, right? So when you're not in your addiction, when you're not getting high, and that's the sad part, is like, how do you get out of that moment of getting high? How do you get to that moment of clarity where you can get sober and finally get into that reasoning brain? Because while you're getting high, you're going to be operating into your instinctive brain. You're going to be going through the motions, drifting through your day, not really thinking about it. Then when you come down, that's where depression and pain and all that comes flooding in. So then you got to get high again just to stay afloat in your own life, to go through the motions and to feel like a human. There's something I discovered recently that made a lot of sense to me, and I don't know if it will to you, but the thing is, when you go through all the stuff that you're going through, all those hard times, in those moments, that's like, why me? Why does my life have to be so hard? Why do I got to go through this? Why? You know, and it hurts and it's hard. But the truth is, and you can't see it right now, there's a purpose for it. And the purpose is to condition you, to train you, to build you up stronger, so you're this strong, immobilized person, this juggernaut. You can't be moved. Once you get through that struggle, once you keep moving forward, you take that next step, you do the right next best thing, you keep doing that, when you get there, you're going to look back and you're like, holy shit, I made it through that. I'm one tough mother, okay? And you are. You don't understand how strong you are. To stay alive, to be on the streets, to be homeless, to be starving, to feel like you have nobody and nothing, no purpose, and to make it through that. There's so much strength in that, and so much. I want to encourage you so much that if you just keep going, and it might not be the next step or today or tomorrow, but you take that next step and you will arrive at your destination. Walk of 1,000,000 miles starts with one step and another one and another one. You know, you're not going to just get there today. You're not going to just get there like that. You have to learn your lessons. You have to go through that, and you have to hurt. You have, essentially, at least for me, I had to be destroyed, and I was destroyed. I mean, I took my own life. I was so destroyed, and I didn't want nothing to do with this world. And you know what? When I came back to, and I was in the hospital, and there's a cop standing over top of me, I was so mad. I was so pissed off that I woke up. But today, I'm so grateful that I'm alive. I'm so grateful that I woke up, because now I'm taking all that pain that I went through, and I'm giving it back to whoever's listening to this video right now. This is for you, okay? Whether you're an addict, you're a family member of an addict, or you just know somebody that's going through some shit. You don't even have to be, it doesn't even have to be addiction. It's just, you can't make it through life without other people. We need people. As much as you might hate people right now because they're scumbags or this or that, you need people. You've needed those scumbags to be in your life to teach lessons so you have something to teach the next person. So you can find that little version of yourself out there that's still struggling. So I can find that little Justin out there who's still struggling and help them. What if you get your shit together, you take your story with you, and you unpack it. You unpack all the fucking details. You let all the skeletons out the closet, and you don't hide anymore from your mistakes. What if you do that? And what if you become somebody's fucking angel? Somebody that's been begging for help. Somebody that needed it so bad. I know I've been that person. I've needed that shit. I needed someone to come help me. And I was alone. I've been on my knees. I've begged. I've cried. I've wished to die. I've killed myself. And I don't want nobody to have to go through that shit. Nobody. I wouldn't wish it on my own worst enemy. To get stuck into an addiction. You know, just trying to find your place in life. Because that's essentially what I was doing. I wanted to fit in. I didn't have somewhere that I fit in. So I tried different ways. I tried to be a prep. I tried to be a football player. I tried to be everything that I could be. And nothing seemed to fit right. But you know what? When I got high, I loved it. I loved getting high. Nothing felt better. Nothing. And, you know, I was just a key looking for a lock. And it happened to fit. And it turned. And it opened this whole door of possibilities. I felt like fucking Superman, dude. Like, I felt amazing. I felt like I could take on the world. I could accomplish so much in my life. I could just... Nothing could stop me from doing and being the greatest person I could be. And that's what my mindset was. Like, I felt so invigorated and so alive. I was on top of the world and no one could stop me. And then I got high again. And then I got high again. And then the consequences started setting in. Like, what I didn't realize is that you got to pay for everything that you do. We all pay. Nothing is free, okay? And I'm talking about everything. And consequences can be positive or negative. So you drink. You celebrate. There's a positive consequence to that. You have a good time. But then there's the come down. There's the negative consequence. You got to pay for your shit. So the next morning when you wake up and feeling like shit, but you got kids to get out to school, get on the bus, that's what you're paying. You're paying that. You're paying for that. You're paying your time. You have to get up and still be an adult. If you don't, guess what? Your life's going to spiral out of control. We all have to pay the price. We all do. For everything that we do. You know, you work out. The positive consequence of that is you get healthy. That's good. You're still paid for it. You paid for it with your time, energy, dedication. You don't work out. You get lazy. You eat a lot of food. You pay for that. You pay for that with bad health. You smoke cigarettes. You pay for that. You sign up. You try it. You enjoy it. You do it. You're addicted. Then 20 years later, you get cancer. And people say, addiction's not a disease. Cancer is. You didn't sign up to get cancer. And I didn't sign up to be an addict. I signed up to try something new. And it happened to be something I loved. And the difference between me and you is, you could get high one time and walk away. I happen to be allergic to it. So I get high one time and it takes my whole entire life to try to figure this out. To beat this thing. You know, meth, they say, 2% of people ever recover completely and don't go back to it. 2%. That's astronomical. That's insane. And I want to increase that number to 4%, 6%, 10%. People need to know what's going on. So I've been doing a lot of research. I wanted to know why I could quit cold turkey smoking cigarettes after 20 years. Boom, done. Done. Why can't I stop doing meth? I quit doing heroin. Why couldn't I stop doing meth? Why? Am I stupid? Am I slow? That's what I thought. That's what I felt. So I hit the books. And I started learning. And I started reading. And I started understanding. It's so much deeper than that. Remember what I was talking about? The instinctive brain and the reasoning brain? There's a lot to do with that there. So, and also the neurotransmitters in your brain, serotonin, dopamine. Again, I'm not a doctor, so don't take me as like this is like a prescription for you. It's just what I've learned, what I know, and I just want to share that with the world because people need to know. People need to know what's going on. So I wrote a poem called "Dopamine is King," based on the phenomenal book Dopamine Nation, and I was so inspired to write about this because I didn't realize what was going on in my body either. You know, like I didn't realize like one hit of meth releases so much dopamine. It's the equivalent of 10 orgasms. You know, and it's not like you're hitting it and it's like, oh wow, you know, no, it's just your brain telling you, hey, this is good. Like, okay, sex, having an orgasm. This is great, man. Oh wow, that was amazing, right? Now you take that one hit of meth, boom, multiply that orgasm by 10. Can you imagine what your brain is thinking right now? Like, it's just, it's becoming addicted to that, and we all need dopamine to survive. It's the reward chemical. It's also what drives desire. So you could literally starve to death with a plate of food right here by your face, because you would not have any care to go like this and put a piece of food in your mouth. You would die. Literally, you would die. You wouldn't care to have sex. The baddest girl could walk in front of you. The most smoking body, like, wow, drop dead gorgeous. You would not care to even look at her. You wouldn't care to have sex with her. You wouldn't care for any of that. You would starve to death. You would let yourself die. Okay? So we need dopamine, right? We need it. We have to have it. Now the amount of dopamine that's released is just, it's not your fault. You don't realize what you're getting into. You dove in the pool. You thought you could swim. Realize you didn't know how to swim. You saw the other kids doing it. You thought you could do it, and you're about to drown. Okay? So you got to get up out of there. And it's hard. It's hard to get out of there. I can sit here and tell you that I've been to prison, in jail, and I've been incarcerated for 16 years of my life, that I've been struggling with meth addiction for 14 years. And since I was 14 years old, I've done cocaine and weed and all that shit. That all was stepping stones for me getting addicted to this meth that has literally ravaged my entire life and destroyed me on the inside, broke me down to nothing, like literally just a piece of shit crying in a pile of fucking cloth and bones, hating everybody for not being there and not understanding what was going on with me. And I was the person who people made fun of when I did meth, because I moved. I'm telling you, they call it noodle grooving. That was me. Okay, and I probably wasn't even anywhere near as bad as I was. I was probably worse than that. And I didn't even know that I was doing it. That's the thing. It's like all those neurotransmitters were flooding my brain, and my body was just short-circuiting, and I'm just flailing all over the place. And people are like, oh, look at that guy. That's fucking hilarious. Fucking loser, tweaker, piece of shit. And really inside I'm just torn apart, broken, and like, oh, I'm taking those comments and I'm chewing on them, and I love them because they're helping me want to fucking end my life, and I'm this close to doing it, and I did it. And we don't know what's going on. You know, I'm a human for the first time. I ain't never been here before. Have you been here before? Have you battled addiction? I never did. Not like this. Not this monster. This monster's a whole new thing. But he's my fucking buddy. He's my best friend. He's in my pocket. He's by my side all the time. He never abandons me until I get locked up. Until I'm in jail. Then I lose him. But then I start gaining my mind back. It's just amazing. Like, we are so judgmental towards people, thinking that we can just look at them and be like, oh yeah, that scumbag, he's a piece of shit. He don't deserve a chance. That was me. That was me. People made fun of me. It was a great time for everybody, you know. But I learned some shit about myself. And I know that I'm not a fucking loser. And I know I'm not a piece of shit. And I know I have a good heart. And I know that I'm going to touch somebody's life with this video. And I know that someone's going to hear me. And I hope it does. Because all that shit that I went through, all those struggles, all that time in my darkness, me being able to help somebody is a light. It's a candle flicking in the dark room. You know what a little spark does in a dark room? It lights up everything. So now, my goal is to get that little ember burning in your heart to help you see that you're not what you've been told you are because you're addicted. You've been misled, misguided. That person who has cancer is not a fucking piece of shit sitting in the hospital because they have cancer. And you're not a piece of shit because you're sitting in your room crying alone, shooting up, smoking, doing whatever you're doing to chase away that pain. You're not. You're a human, and you've been misled. Get the facts straight. Okay? Now, another thing I want to say is pain. It hurts. It's supposed to. But it's not your enemy. Pain is your friend. Sounds funny, I know. It doesn't sound right. But pain is your friend. What does pain do? It gets your attention, doesn't it? It's saying, hey, down here. That hurts. Why does it hurt so bad? I don't know. Why do your brakes start squealing when your pads start wearing out? It's an indication. It's telling you, hey, time to change the brake pads. You don't turn the fucking music up and drown out the noise and hope that you're going to be able to stop again. That ain't how it works. You have to actually go get that shit serviced. Same thing with your brain, your body, your mind. You start feeling something, you start going through something, don't turn the radio up. Don't get high. Getting high is turning that radio all the way the fuck up. You don't hear shit. You don't feel shit. You're fucking on top of the world. Life is so great when you're high. I'm telling you. Been there, done that. That's me. I cranked that bitch up so high. I never want to come down, dude. I'm like a fucking astronaut into the sky. The truth is, pain is our friend. And if you pay attention to it, it's telling you something. Hey you. Hey you, putting that stuff in your body. If you stop for a minute, I can tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me whisper in your ear. This is what's going on. Process it. Feel it. Cry. Cry hard as fuck. Let that shit go. Accept what life has brought to you, okay? There's a lot of big hang-ups that we have in life is that we don't accept what life brings us. It's hard to accept that I'm a fucking junkie and a loser and I've been locked up most of my life. You know? Call home and like my parents are doing jobs that I should be doing. Picking up my shit, doing things for me, and I'm on the other end of the phone being ignorant as hell, thinking like, oh, it's not a big deal to move my shit, just go get my stuff. You know, that stuff is important to us, but really, it's not. It's not important. Think about pain and what it does for you, okay? If you just work through it, sober off, go through those painful memories, those feelings, channel check that shit if you have to, dude. If you can't handle it, channel check it. Think about your kid. Think about this. And don't be sad. Don't be down on yourself like, oh, I'm a piece of shit mom, I'm a piece of shit dad, I'm not there, I'm this and that. You're a fucking human, dude, and you're learning from what you've been taught, okay? And your parents learned from what they were taught. And we're all just walking into this one time, first time together, figuring it out. So let's figure this shit out together, okay? That's what I'm here for. I want to figure this out with you. Because it took me a long time for me to figure it out. And I don't want no one to have to figure that shit out. I'm like a slow fucking learner over here, dude. I just, wow, Justin, why, how can you still be doing that shit, dude? After all this time, after losing everything, how? I'll tell you how. I'm a person. I have a lot of flaws. I make mistakes. Shit ton of them. Mountains full of them. And I've paid for all those. I paid for all those with time. I've done a lot of time. And that doesn't sound substantial to some people, but it's more precious than gold. It's the most precious thing that you got is your time, because you don't get none back. You can't recover it. You can't make up for it. You know, and I lost my son. And you know what? That hurts. That hurts bad. But you know what? He's going to find me. He's going to find me like this. He's going to find this person. He's a skeleton. That moralist, soulless fucking skeleton I was. They don't have hearts. I didn't have a heart. Not to care enough to stop and do my shit, you know, to be a father. I mean, don't think that he wasn't there in my mind. Because, see, people say out of sight, out of mind. I don't believe that anymore. I used to be one of those people. Because I felt like I was forgotten about when I was locked up. But the truth is, it was just out of sight, out of focus. You know? Out of sight, out of focus. What are you channel checking to? What are you focusing on? That's what you become. Everything that I'm talking about right now, it all starts right here in your brain, okay? You relapse before you even relapse. Your thoughts get you there. Not paying attention to that pain, by covering it up, by masking it. That's what happens, okay? I just hope that you can process what I'm trying to tell you. That it's not your fault you became addicted. Yeah, it was your fault that you wanted to fit in, that you tried. But that's like the human condition, is it not? To try to find a place to fit in, to have a place called home, outside of your home, to have a social life, to be with people. And it sucks that like we attach ourselves to people that kind of reflect what's going on inside of us. So we attach ourselves to, if someone's struggling, we attach ourselves to people struggling. And then what happens? Now we got this group of friends that are all struggling, and we're all fucking pulling each other under because we enable each other to keep doing it because we know that it feels good. And I want to be in my misery with you because you understand what I'm going through. So I don't go home anymore because I can't be around my family because they're not vibrating on the same frequency I am. And they're perceiving it as, you don't love us. You don't want to come around. No mom, no dad, no brother, no sister. That's not true. I love you more than you can fucking know. I just can't be around you because you guys don't understand me. And I don't understand me. But maybe around these people, I feel understood. At least a fraction. So consider that it's not your fault, You're hijacked by your own fucking brain. And the way that your brain works, it's pretty tricky, dude. It's tricky. Your brain is tricky. Your brain is conniving. So they did this study. I don't remember where I read it at, but I do know that they said that they took this picture, flashed it in front of your eyes. You're hooked up to these electrodes, and you didn't realize what was going on. But it happened so fast that you couldn't perceive what you saw. But what it was a line of cocaine. And on the monitors, it showed that you got high. Like your brain sent off those reward chemicals, and it lit up like the 4th of July, and it was like you got high. Because your brain doesn't know the difference between seeing an action and doing an action. So this is how I can walk into a house, a trap house, a dope house, a bar, be around those people, and I can see it happening. And my brain is sending out reward signals. That dopamine is telling me like, yeah, dude, you're in the good place. This is where you're supposed to be. Fuck yeah. And it's feeling like, you're not getting the high of the actual drug, but you are getting those chemicals to be released in your brain. And that is profound, because if you realize that, if you know that, this is where you realize that people, places, and things are super essential to your sobriety. Like, the old adage, the old cliche is, you go to the barbershop, hang out long enough, you're going to get your hair cut. Well, you go to the bar, you go to the trap house, you hang out long enough, you're going to get high, you're going to get drunk, you're going to do it. I mean, there's some people, very rare people, can do that. Unfortunately for me, I got high one time and I was addicted for my whole life. It essentially is like an allergic reaction to those chemicals. You can get high one time and walk away. I get high one time and, well, fighting tooth and nail to fucking stay sober, to get my life together, to keep my son, to not lose anymore. And the sad thing is that we all learn at our own rate. No one can tell you anything. Because the way that people are, is we have to find out. Like, there's always two sides to every coin, right? Two sides to a story. So, I hear about getting high from my parents, like, oh, that's bad, bad, bad. School's like, bad, bad, bad. Then I hear about someone that actually got high, and like, oh man, that's fucking great, right? Okay, so who am I going to believe? I'm like torn between two, like the people who raised me and taught me and I learned from, and then you got the people over here who are like, who have done it, who I want to be friends with, who seem like really cool. So like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it one time, just once. Not a big fucking deal, right? Well, unfortunately for me, I happen to be allergic to meth, to where like I have to have it now. Like it's like essential. Like live or die, I'll fucking do whatever I can to get it. And so there's two forces in your life. You gotta find out yourself. And everybody over here is like, I told you so. Everybody's over here like, hey man, stay the course. Fuck them. Who cares? Fuck everybody. Fuck the world. Because, they've already been in this for a while now. And they've already been desensitized to feeling left out, abandoned, alone, and struggling, addicted, and incarcerated, and just not in their right minds. And so they're not acting outside of anything that's normal for them. That's what's normal for them. They're coming from what they know. We all come from what we know. There's not bad people. It's bad programming. Just like a computer. There's no such thing as a bad computer. The computer didn't just go rogue. Someone programmed it. Someone gave it a virus. Someone did something to it. There's always an outside force that causes that shit to happen. And that's the same in our lives. We choose the path we go because we need to know for ourselves. So I can tell you that I've done all that shit. I can tell you what I've said before, you know. But you have to learn at your own rate, through your own mistakes. You have to fall. You have to find out what it's like to fall. You have to find out what it's like to stand back up. And you have to decide which one of those you want. Because at the end of the day, ain't nobody gonna decide that choice for you. Nobody can. It's all on you. You know, the struggle is for real. This shit's real. And I'm gonna keep doing my part to put videos out there to help people learn about what goes on in their body or brain. And just really help you figure out what's going on. If you have questions, shoot me a question. Send it, put it in the comments. I will respond to you. I will talk to you. If you're going through something, just realize I have to have boundaries for myself. Even if you're using, you can comment, you can say whatever, and you don't have to tell me that you're using. You don't have to put anything out there you don't want to. You know, you can hit me on the DM. It doesn't matter. I just want you to know that you're not alone. That there's somebody that cares. I care because I was you at one time. Maybe not the same level. Maybe I haven't lost what you did. Maybe your life is harder than mine. I don't know. But I want you to know that you're not alone. That there's somebody that cares. And to the family members who are going through it, I want you to understand that that person who's in addictions, that doesn't make them a bad person. They just made the wrong choice at the wrong time. They're a good person in the wrong place at the wrong time, you know? And they can come home. They can come home to you. They can come home to themselves. But it takes consistent, persistent love. Unconditional love. One that doesn't say, well, we love you if you don't do drugs. You can be a part of family if you don't do drugs. No, that's not how it works. That's what crushes people. We need to know. You know, we're like infants, okay? Addicts are fucking infants. We're big babies. We need everything to be about us. And I know it's hard and it sucks to hear that, but it's true. Like, we need to be nursed. Like, we're learning for the first time. Being in addiction is a whole different lifestyle. So once you get into there and you're in there for so long, getting out of it becomes hard because being an addict is familiar. It's home to you. So you look at it like, how the fuck aren't you getting sober? Why do you keep doing this? Well, it's because it's familiar to me. When something bad happened, it's easy to mask the pain, to get over that shit by getting high. A dog returns to its vomit. People need to know the truth about addiction. It's not your fault. Stop blaming yourself. Start accepting what comes your way. Once you move into a position of acceptance, you can learn to change things. You can start making changes. If you don't accept it, if you're always dwelling on the negative and why the me and I can't handle this shit, you just realize whatever happens, happens. You have to accept it because that's what happens. You can't change it by not accepting it. The only thing that you change is your mindset by not accepting it, and it just makes it hard. So you say, you know what, fuck it. Alright, this is what's happening to me. I'm floating down shit creek without a paddle. What am I going to do? Where can you go from there? Get your hands in that shit and start paddling. You know, like, you got to put the work in. You got to do it all. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody saved me. Yes, people have helped. People can assist, but nobody's in that boat but you. Nobody can get in that boat, and when you try put someone else in that boat with you, you're going to sink. So when you get into recovery and you go to the halfway house, you're in jail, your sobriety's good, and you meet the girl, you meet the guy, and you guys are like, well, I mean, in your dirt, you're a piece of shit, and she's a piece of shit when she was in her dirt, but when you guys see each other, you guys are so good. Like, this is the best version of you, this is the best version of you. So, oh, you know what, we should be together. Boom! Now we're the two best versions of us, not realizing all the monsters and demons that are still in our backpacks, waiting to be unleashed and cause this fucking hell. So when one person relapses, guess what? We're already entangled. The laws of physics, entanglement is a thing, and we are going to pull you down. You're not going to... You get high, I'm getting high. Okay, that's the way it is. Adam, Eve, that's what happens. So, guard yourself. Focus on you. Get your mind right. Get back to you. Stop looking for that girl that's going to make you feel complete, because completion is not an external source. It all comes from in here. Happiness is in here. When you are complete in here, you don't need external love from somebody to make you feel like you're special, because you already know. I know that I'm special. I know that I love my fucking stuff right now. That's why I'm sitting right here right now, able to talk to you and tell you all this stuff that I'm telling you, because I no longer doubt who I am. And I found purpose in it by giving back out of my struggles to that little Justin that's out there still struggling. And you can do the same. Don't go fucking reserve yourself to working a factory job for the rest of your life. You were meant for more. You were forged in the fire. You've been purged. You've been fucking beaten like the chaff. You went through hell. Why would you train for the Olympics as a swimmer and then go try to fucking run? That's not what you trained for. This isn't what you trained for. You didn't train to go work in a fucking factory the rest of your life. You trained to be that person that can help other people. You're meant for so much more. Okay? And I hope this isn't coming off as like preaching or anything. I just want people to know the truth about addiction and how we are in here and here and in here when we're on that shit. And it's a night and day difference. We're not the same person. We've been hijacked by our own minds, and it's a crazy world. But thank you for listening. I love you all. My book, In the Struggle, is about poetry in the struggle of addiction, the things my family went through, the things I went through, the light side, the dark side, all the in between. And this is for you, man. I hope that this will spark some inspiration in somebody's heart who's actively using or thinking about going back to it and realizing that shit ain't worth it. Because, you know, you're wired for it. You're wired to enjoy pleasure. And we can. Once you get off that shit and you let your dopamine levels level down, you know, because like when you get high, you stop finding joy in the little things in life that you used to love, like reading, going for a walk. Like you used to love that shit, man. Writing, whatever you used to love doing. You can't find joy in that when you're getting high because the levels of dopamine are way fucking off. But once you get sober, let those come back down, and then start doing those little things, going on a little run, doing some pushes, working out, that little stuff, you know. And then that little stuff becomes the big stuff. And you start to appreciate life. And you can watch the sunrise and the sunset and just be in awe and love it and be happy to be home for Christmas and to have your wits about you and have clothes on your back, to have food in your mouth and your belly, and you actually start liking food again. And life's beautiful, I'm telling you. Thank you for listening. And remember, there's no wrong way to recover. And you're not alone.